as we raise vibrations, as the frequency of the earth changes, and as the frequency of like what we care about changes, all of this stuff is going to shift. And
the
like
frequency of what we care about.
But yeah, I mean,
there's something extremely mysterious about it.
Yes.
Like, and we're not even talking. It even goes beyond seeing a number.
No, it's deep.
You know, it's like let's look at the insanely. We were just talking about this earlier. Like the coincidences that cannot be coincidences.
Oh, coincidences.
You know? Motivational tea time. We out here.
Motivational tea magic.
A comeback in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
Like, have you ever had a coincidence that just could not be a coincidence?
Like somebody had that plan.
Just like.
You're like, wait, is there a camera here? Somebody about to jump out and be like, oh, gotcha. Like, no, I feel exactly.
There's way too many of those. Way too many of those. And like, that's a large claim because we live in a highly rational mathematical world. We're surrounded by more skeptics than we think. You know, and when you make a claim like, hey, like, I'm witnessing something that is beyond all rationale and beyond all happenstance, it's akin to someone saying, I see a UFO. People would actually believe in UFOs more than some sort of energetic alignment.
Yeah, 100%. When you say, oh, it was a coincidence, you're basically making it seem like as if it happened by accident. And I think for two things to happen at the same time, or to happen, or to meet or intersect at a point, in a world as big as we have today, it just kind of has to get a little deeper than, you know, Larry made a decision, Tom made a decision, and then the decisions were completely independent of each other. Maybe, maybe not. That was kind of like outside.
No, exactly. It's like it's grappling between, was this just happenstance? Am I being dramatic? Versus, I'm seeing something. I'm witnessing something that is beyond all explanation. And I think, I think the homie neuroscientist, author, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he would often say that humans thirst for the mystical. You know, like you could. I mean, that's why you look at Jim Carrey. You know, the homie got every dollar he could, every best-selling blockbuster movie, every drip of the capitalistic Hollywood machine, and then he just started going around saying, "F it, nothing means nothing. I'm just going to start painting all day." For a reason, you know? He reached the top of a mountain and was like, it's time to thirst for the mystical. You know, either that or swallow some pills.
Thirst for something outside of your own experience almost. I mean, thirst for the mystical is interesting because I feel like humans are very mystical creatures, and even in things that we do just naturally, you can see like a certain level of like mysticism in it. Like, for instance, let's say manifestation, right? Like, I think at this point most people believe in manifestation,
You'd be surprised.
Right, I mean, there's people that don't, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
active haters of it.
Right. Like, people that are active, like, skeptical for no reason. Yeah, I mean, like, all I'm saying is, like, at the end of the day, I think the mystical is built into humans. And I think that we've, as a society, done such a good job of ignoring or for dumbing down or diluting how mystical truly we are as beings, that now we all just think, oh, okay, mystical is like something outside of self. And I think that mystical is like humans, again, within themselves are so mystical. And even if you look at spiritual text, like there's so much mysticism that goes on within spiritual text when these same people are like, oh, like what are you talking about, ghosts or manifestation? Like the Bible 100% says, ask and you shall receive. If that doesn't mean manifestation, I don't know what does. So it's just like, it's a lot of stuff that I feel like is separated from culture to make people like think that mysticism is like some sort of pie in the sky, voodoo-y thing, as opposed to built into our anatomies, which is, I guess, my theory.
Totally. I mean, you know, I And I guess it all depends on what avenue you found yourself to the idea and when you stopped believing in the potential for something. Like, working as a therapist in Kensington, I'm always asking different people, what do you know about mindfulness? 60% of people, 70% of people have tried it once and totally dropped ever trying it again because they were introduced to it in some hippy-dippy way that they weren't able to connect to. You know, and I'm just like...
That was too abstract.
And I'm just like, yo, there's 1,000 different ways you can approach this. You're just going to cancel out mindfulness from your life? You know, and the same goes with, like, anything. You know, whether if it's manifestation, like... I was reflecting on affirmations, and I was like, a lot of people think that affirmations are a way to lie to yourself. And I was like, do I disagree with that? I was like, entirely I do, but I would agree with it if I was taught it to just say the words. Because I actually believe the words are a blueprint
to the visualization.
To the feeling and the visualization.
And the visualization, the two that come together after the words. Yeah, yes. I mean, so with affirmations, I actually used to not like affirmations. But then after doing a bunch of study on the mind and stuff, I realized that the whole point of affirmation is just to take you closer to your goal without like having to be in that moment at that time. Like it's almost like time traveling to the point of you accomplishing that goal, so you can feel the feeling and you can see it in your head, so that your body and your brain and your spirit all start working towards that thing. Does that make sense? Like that's like
100%. Yeah. But it's funny though, because I guess there is validity to the fact that it can be dangerous.
Oh no, it can.
If all you do is sit in your room and say,
words,
you get it. Like if that is where it is.
I am powerful. I am 157 pounds. Yeah.
Right, and that was still that's actually still better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Hey, fuck it. Lie to yourself to your better. I'm all for it.
But it truly is the beginning of
yourself to a better life.
1,000-step journey, and you can't just stop with 30 steps.
Right, facts.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. I think that a lot of the stuff that, let's say, that came out, 5 to 10 years ago, that like all this stuff I would say came out 5 to 10 years ago in terms of like came out within popular culture. Affirmations, when The Secret was written, I think that was written in 2011 or 12.
And that long ago?
And maybe 4 to 7 years after that, people were just making fun of that book. And then it went on Oprah, and Oprah kind of made fun of it, but he said on live TV straight up, oh yeah, we forgot to put something in the book. And what they forgot, which was supposed to be the last chapter, I think they re-released the book with the last chapter in it, was to tell people to take action and visualize. So the whole book is on manifestation, but at the end they're supposed to put a chapter about how to use that to take action and use the visualization to actually accomplish the goals. Super funny that they forgot to put it in. But it's just interesting because I think that maybe that was part of the reason why people got such a bad taste in their mouth. And then I want to say it wasn't until about, in Philadelphia, in California and other places could have been a little different, but in Philadelphia, I would say it wasn't until 2016 that any of this stuff even took any hold of culture, where people were actively like not making fun of people for being like manifestation or...
Well, here's another thing though. Like, sure, whether The Secret is asking you shall receive or believe and yada yada or whatever, assume the feeling of or assume the energy. I guess another reason why skeptic eyes form is because it's actually not acknowledging that change is difficult. That we're a result of years of our choices, thoughts, and actions, and how like the commitment that you actually have to make to even see the smallest change is a gigantic commitment. And obviously those ideas, those realities, it wouldn't fit to The Secret. You know, what kind of shitty secret would it be that you need to work hard consistently with great commitment?
90 days and write down some fucking goals.
You know, it just wouldn't be a marketable, swallowable, happy meal $5 Taco Bell KFC box type of secret if it was not instant gratificationally based.
I feel that. Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, I guess this is where, something comes in. Over the past, let's say, 10 years, this has become a marketable, profitable business model. The secret concepts, manifestation, yoga, meditation, so every time you get something that becomes profitable, you're gonna have the real people, and then you're gonna have the fakers. And the fakers are good at faking it. So they will pretend to be this way just for the monetary gain, or just for the clout, or whatever it is. Now here's my thing. I'm not mad at the fakers because they're helping spread what actually needs to be spread. Now, I'm annoyed at them sometimes because sometimes they take away credibility from the people that really understand how to make things like The Secret work and how to make affirmations and other things work. But at the end of the day, it's a frequency change in general for everybody. And as we raise vibrations, as the frequency of the earth changes, and as the frequency of what we care about changes, all of this stuff is going to shift, and
the frequency of what we care about.
Yeah, everything will change, and everything will shift to be more or less the direction that hopefully we all want it to go.
So as we near towards the fourth quarter of this, with the recording time on that, the time we have in this sponsored space, I'm reminded, as you said, the frequency of what we care about changes. Reminded me of something that Jordan Peterson said in a speech that I was listening to. He was just pointing to the fact that the big spiritual question is, how do we orient ourselves? What is the highest way to orient ourselves? What is the actual aim? We as a species, who actually decides that? Who is going to provide the complex question of where the best place to aim is? Whether it's Elon Musk saying that we should become an interplanetary species, or whether it's this individual, that, it is that great spiritual question. It is a creative endeavor. What should we care about? The frequency of that question and the answer as it evolves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to change actively, right? We're going to care about things until we solve them as issues, right? Like climate change, women's rights, civil rights and things of that sort. We're going to care about all that.
Ever-evolving puzzle.
Right. And so I don't think it's ever going to be fixed, but I think that hopefully with the development of technology and mindset and the distribution of wealth, opportunity, and knowledge, we will be able to shift the frequency to a more collective good concept, as opposed to this darker, dark and orderly concept we have right now, because we have a really orderly world. Our world's pretty orderly.
You know what's cool to realize? In this moment, relative to 300 years ago, someone 300 years ago could look at us right now on this table and say, it's all fixed.
No, literally.
And right now we're 300 years from now, this might all be fixed.
It's going to be like that. Hopefully not, but we'll see.
So cheers to that.
Any final thoughts as we close out, Daniel?
Let's keep orienting ourselves, and when you were when you spoke of the fix, it made me think of the balance, the yin, and the yang, and because at the end of the day, we need to figure out how to be satisfied in this moment. We need to figure out how to literally be full of contentment while orienting ourselves towards an even better future.
Amen. That's an interesting balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I think I saw something that said drive and surrender, and then in the middle it said flow. Ambition, surrender, flow. I'll draw that and then we'll move on. Ambition, surrender, flow.
Nice. That's satisfying. No, cheers. Yo, we coming at you from the space.